and welcome back to Organic Cardboard. My name's Owen Kneep, over here with Sean Peck. Got him back over at the Organic Cardboard Studios. And we are going to be playing Atlantis, right? I got to figure out which way to turn. Atlantis, right. Which way am I pointing? Atlantis Rising, Monstrosities.
Just point to the middle.
Atlantis Monstrosities Rising.
Yeah.
We're going to be playing Atlantis Rising with the Monstrosities expansion. I don't have the box for Monstrosities because I got rid of it after I packed it all the way into this with an insert.
Oh, okay.
I do have a rule book that's got the picture on it, but we also have it all in the background too here. So we're going to play this game today, and then yeah, pet the Medusa.
Good Medusa.
Stroke the Medusa head. Yeah.
I'll feed the snakes.
Yeah. We're gonna play a game of this. We're not gonna do a full playthrough on the camera, but I am. We're gonna do kind of like a first impression sort of review. I've played the base game a handful of times. Sean and I played the base game once, and then we had like a tiny bit of the expansion content when we played, just with some of the different leaders that you could use.
So now we're really layering it in, right?
Yeah. But we're going to play with a lot of the Monstrosities expansion content this time, and we're going to kind of do more or less a first impressions kind of review after this. But meanwhile, I'm going to end up, seeing what some of the fun stuff is as we play, and we're going to kind of record that and throw it in as we go. So
yeah, we'll check back with you we periodically through the game.
And with that, I'm going to continue on and start this game off. All right. So what the ones that we're going to be playing with today, at least the leaders, is so the leaders are both from the expansion content. We're going to have one of the monsters, and we'll have allies here as well. So I'm going to be playing with the Chandler, and he's got some special spirits that are going to allow him to do extra things once per round. And then Sean is going to be playing with the Artisan, that's going to allow him to make these really nice magic weapons that he's going to build just like you would normally build components up at the Cosmic Gate. Otherwise, I'm going to be playing with the Harpies. And so we're going to be dealing with these nasty little birds kind of coming in after us and stealing our resources and our people. And then we'll have to go bust them in the face to get them back and potentially kill them. And then again, we got this big stack of allies that come from the expansion. These are ones that we may or may not see at any point. There's certain cards that come out in the library deck that can give us some options for those to potentially show up if we go after them. And then I've got a nice little set of meeples here for each one, depending on which one that may show up, and those are going to become like an extra worker for us. Otherwise, we are playing a two-player game. We're going to have the hologram, and the hologram is going to have the full access to all the different leaders that could show up. And so we've already got it set up. We're going to have the alchemist out to start off with. But with that, I think Sean and I are going to go ahead and start our game.
Okay.
All right. So one of the things that's really cool about these allies, so we've got a component that Sean had just built that allows you to take one of the allies.
You want to put all these things on your...
Yeah, so let's take a look and see. Let's do it like over here. There we go. So we decided to go with the giant. Now there's multiple allies there's like quite a few different cards here of ally cards. There's like another 8 maybe or so that can show up.
They're all kind of mythical monsters.
Yeah. And so the giant, not only do they have these really cool meeples, so like this is a normal worker is this size. She is quite larger. But so she's got like a special ability. She can go and be placed into 2 locations like at the same time. And the Wild Peninsula is the ones that gain you the basic resources. And she'll roll 2 die and then divide it by the target value and round that down. So if it's like a 5 as a target value, and she rolls like 2 5s or like a 5 and a 6 or something, then she'll get 2 of those resources. Otherwise, if she rolls them both and they're like 2 3s, she'll still get 1 resource. If it's really unlucky and she rolled like 2 2s and the 5 was the target, then she would not get anything. But she's still pretty versatile and a really nice initial ally to get. And the other ones can be a little bit more situational, but they do also count as like an extra worker. So I really am enjoying that part so far.
So she's kind of like 2 workers almost if you roll really good.
Yeah.
But if you had 2 workers on there, you still have to roll really good.
yeah, right. So pretty neat though so far. All right, so one of these other things that is really cool that we're playing with are these harpies. And now that we've been playing for a little while, we can take a look and see what these guys are doing. Let's switch it this way. There we go. So this is an example of what these harpies are doing to us. They've been stealing items from us this whole time, and also workers. So sorry, I'll lay these guys down so we can see them a little better. But you got these big eagle harpy bastards that are taking all of our goodies. And then they've got 2 of my workers in their nest, and they're just hoarding all of this stuff. Meanwhile, I've got these 2 workers, this hologram and this other one over here, that I'm just flopping over so we can see it on the camera. They just went into battle, and luckily I had the die roll in order to hit them because my other guys that are trapped will fight back too. So we finally kill one of these guys, but otherwise every round these are showing up on a random peninsula that we roll a die for, and they'll just interrupt and steal stuff, or if they can't steal something, or if we don't want to give them something, they actually take our worker with them. But eventually we'll kill all of these guys, and then we'll get all of our stuff back. So it's kind of a delayed thing, but it does really hit you kind of hard early in the game.
Oh, you got to take them all out before you get your stuff back.
Yeah. But I think that's pretty neat.
And they have a treasure too. It's hidden underneath the pile of stuff there.
Yeah. I think it's pretty neat overall how they work though. So that's been pretty fun to play with. That's been Z Garcia's recommendation with this game is the harpies. He thinks that those are the funner of the monsters to play with. You only play with one of them at a time, but it's what we're dealing with at the moment. Enjoying it so far.
It seems nice that you get them back.
Yeah,
that kind of makes it like it's an extreme pain in the butt to watch your dude get flown away because you don't want to give up your resources. You're like, sorry, man.
Well, especially because I waited until I actually succeeded to even talk about this, because I actually went in wasting 2 workers and failed the first attack, which was terrible.
You get to add to your roll when you got workers there, though. Isn't that the advantage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's a little bit of an advantage once they take your workers. You're more likely to get them out of your way. But as it is, we still have 2 to get out of the way, but at least that means we're only losing 2 things every round, too, until we do that.
Smack that chicken.
Yeah, will do. All right, so we're finally at the point where we are defeating the harpies. I just barely had enough on my roll with all of these characters over here. So these, let's see if I get it in the right one here. Let's put in this one. So this is the horde that the harpies had at the time that I'm killing this last one. I just barely was able to get the 12 with a 5 roll. Plus 2 for each worker, so there's 3 workers. He had 3 mystic energy. He's got a stack of metal over here and an ore. So we get all of that. Plus, I haven't even seen this yet, we reveal 1 additional thing. So I get 5 library cards.
Oh my.
Which is not very great because we're kind of full on library cards. We'll have to discard some, but at least I get to cycle through those. But then I get all of these workers back finally. And Sean gets his 1 contributing fighter back.
I'm just here to help.
And then I would gain all of these resources because I was the only one fighting this guy. But now the harpies are finally out of her hair. So it's really a neat mechanic the way all this does. I like that quite a bit. I think Z was probably right with that being a really fun one to play with. But onward we go. We'll see where we're at.
Yes,
obviously
fill it
you
up
can
fast.
see we are filling up, and we have quite a bit to build. We'll see if we win.
Oh, thank you. I don't want to be lost.
Catching the last bit of Sean's game banter. The very last bit. Oh, we survived. Everybody leave now. Go to another world.
See us all gathering in the middle there.
That was pretty intense by the end of it. We're not super skilled at this game. We've only played I played a handful of times of the basic game. And as you can see, we are almost completely flooded. We've got two, and this is kind of how this game's supposed to end, I think. As it's
really down to the wire, isn't it?
All these guys are just praying to God to get out of here, whatever gods they're praying to. And they weren't really doing anything because we had our resources at the end. We just were trying to survive to be able to build that last component. But man, pretty sweet. I do like overall. I like all of these like additions that this expansion's adding in. Compared to the base game, I mean, the big difference. I mean, it just adds more stuff that you can do, more interesting things. The misfortunes are intense. Some of them are very intense, especially right at the end. We got this card over here that is. Let me see if I can find it again.
You know, you got your fan on still.
Oh, I do. All right, turned off the noise-making fan. But this particular card over here. Let's see if I can bring that up over here. Hubris, transmute all resources into mystic energy. That was one that I drew. I had like a ton of resources at the end.
It was the worst possible time.
I was getting ready to get rid of, but because, and this is also all of these special misfortunes I'm using are from the expansion this round. Sean had, luckily, as the artificer, had built the constellation cloak early enough. We're able to discard this card in order to remove any misfortune. So that, if we didn't have this, we would have lost. We would have completely lost if that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So that was really neat. The harpies were fun, annoying as crap in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the game kind of magnifies. If you can get rolling early in the game, it makes the whole game a lot easier. And the harpies really throw a kink into that because they keep you from being able to build like certain components that you might need.
That's really true. They slowed us down to the point where we almost lost.
Yeah. I mean, you give those resources back that you're giving them to get out of your face. But I had to waste a lot of turns just to fight with those guys. It takes 2 workers in order to go over there and fight with them. And then you have to get fortunate enough to actually defeat them. It's almost worth it to just...
You missed twice.
Yeah. So that's two rounds of wasting. So 4 workers just wasted from that. So it's almost worth it with those guys to just give them workers early on so that you can fight them, get them out of your face. But man, it's hard. Luckily, we got all of our workers out, and we're able to kind of spend a lot to do things like that.
It doesn't hurt so bad because you get it back eventually. But boy, what a lot of time it wastes.
Yeah. But I had the Chandler was really fun. I did get to use him once in a previous game as well, and they have all those little spirits that really help you out, give you big benefits. Sean playing again another expansion leader as the artisan, able to do that clutch move of being able to build that cloak that saved us.
That and the sword that he can build really helped a lot too. He used it quite a bit.
Yeah, a lot of fun though. I just in general the game's a lot of fun. It works really well as a co-op game. I'm a little leery sometimes of co-op games because sometimes they can be a little boring. Sometimes it can kind of feel like you're just playing this little piddly game together, and one person might as well just be playing it by themselves.
Yeah, sort of a protracted solo game.
and I kind of reflected on that, and I thought, like, I think what makes those co-op games work well is when you have a lot of moving parts and a lot of things going on, and you're sharing that mind space with two people, so that one person can kind of focus on things and help you make decisions quickly, so that you can get all of these little, because you're having to place all of these workers out, all these little spots. And,
like driving a mech in Pacific Rim.
Yeah, exactly. You need somebody else to share the brain. But overall, though, I mean, I think the expansion definitely adds a lot. We got the one ally the whole time was the giant, and that giant character was
neat.
fun.
I would have liked to have seen more of that.
Of the different allies.
Yeah, I like having.
Yeah, there's quite a few allies. There's another 1, 2, 4, 8. There's another, so there's like 10 allies altogether. And we didn't even play with the ability to get the mermaid out. There's another thing where you can change out some of the cards depending on your difficulty. I think it's for the calm seas. You can get these red skies out, and there's this thing that you can do with the red skies in order to be able to. I can't remember exactly what it is, but you can get like another ally with that, which is the mermaid, and she can do something else. But the miniatures or the meeples that they use for all of these allies are pretty neat. You got I got this little.
It was a hard choice too, picking the one that you wanted to use, because they all do something neat.
But it's neat that they're all screen printed. Like you got the Sphinx lion, you got this Cyclops guy that's kind of big. He's not nearly as big as that giant is. There's Ram, Phoenix, and just a good mix of little unicorns and Dryad. But it's neat how they screen printed all of these. I think they stand out really well. They're definitely have a nice presence on the board, and it's a valuable worker when you get them too. So it's nice. They both act as a worker and have some special ability that can help you in the different locations. But overall, I had a lot of fun. I feel like. I don't have any real reason to not want to play with the expansion content every time. I don't see any reason.
Oh yeah.
Your first game, if you're teaching this to somebody, you're probably just going to play that basic game with them, unless you want to just show them the ropes the whole time and kind of have that two-player solitaire game or whatever that you're doing.
Well, a lot of people. Some people. I think if you know games really well, I mean, like this didn't feel like anything to pick up. It was very light. As far as like trying to understand it, yeah, it's just. But sweaty. we play so many games though, yeah. And there's a dice rolling thing, yeah. You got to be ready to. Yeah,
it's a little sweaty. It gets sweaty, and there's definitely there's a few things to be aware of that are important to go for early, because when the tiles start going away, like being able to make the Atlantium at 2 for 1 instead of having to do it for 1 for 1. The Chandler is able to kind of skip over that a little bit and add an extra one with that, so it helps to mitigate it. Everybody's got, like, I think some of these leaders would certainly be a lot more situational and harder to like do a normal strategy with those. And some of them really help you to break the game a little bit and get by in an easier way. I think definitely. Out of the expansions, for at least from what I've looked through myself, I think that the Chandler was one of the most helpful ones. It's kind of like having the Artificer as your first one that you use in a base, starting beginning game. But yeah, really neat though. I liked everything it was doing. I liked having the ability to make the magic items. There's the kind of adventure that you're going through the misfortune deck is neat, because you do have certain cards that are going to come out that are.
Oh, that zombie one. Did you show that one?
Oh yeah. This was a fun one. This was one of the misfortunes from the expansion, and
Gorgons.
Gorgons. Yeah. So it's like
so
Medusa.
Turning to stone.
And I don't think maybe I didn't. Maybe I missed something in the rules where this was only supposed to come out with the Medusa monster. But I put it in anyways. I put all of the 12 misfortune cards from the expansion in, but this one would like ruin your workers, remove them from play if they fail their rolls. Luckily, I had on a 2-player game you get to play with the hologram, and luckily I had the one that got the scholar that gave me the particular artifact that was allowed all of my mystic energy to add +2. I had a bunch of mystic energy. I had like 6 workers out on the spot
crystals,
where this would have failed at,
the forest.
In the forest. So I had to spend like most all of my energy, but they all succeeded, and I was able to bypass that one. So that was neat.
It was one of those rare points in the game where you had all your eggs in one basket, and then that card came out and just kind of messed everything up.
I guess it's not the misfortunes, it's the libraries. There's these cards that are called wonders, and they'll allow you to get the certain allies out. You'll pick 3 out of the 5 wonders that can show up, and they give you abilities to get other wonders. Like this one's for the Griffin, and I already had the one for the Ram. It showed up during the game. This is the one for the Phoenix. So that's kind of fun. So you don't really know what you may be able to get out, and it's situational if you'll even try to get that one as opposed to something else that's more important to you. But that was, it was a lot of fun. It's kind of somewhat of an epic journey to get over this flooding event that was happening. And I felt
it was
like,
close. And
we only played on like the level 2 difficulty of this. I think it's maybe slightly more difficult in 2-player because you do have to add one of the D components in, where the normal level 2 difficulty wouldn't even have any of the D components, and they go up in difficulty the higher that lettering gets, or the further
more resources to gather on, less benefit maybe.
But neat. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So I think if you like Atlantis Rising, if you're thinking about getting it, if you're thinking about getting it and you're wondering if you should get the expansion along with it, I think it's definitely a worthwhile add.
Oh yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to mix in. And if you like the regular Atlantis Rising, I wouldn't hesitate to throw the monsters in. It just is it's not a heavy lift, and it adds a lot of flavor to both your misfortune cards and the allies and that little extra bit of annoyance from either the harpies or whatever else.
Yeah, Medusa does stuff where she'll freeze your people in place. You can convert her to an ally too if you fight with her enough.
I can change her.
Yeah, I think you have to like make the
gold,
the magic mirror. I think it's like a magic item you have to use or something like that. I can't remember. There's some mechanic for that.
So you're getting her stoned.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Getting her unstoned. You're receding the snakes or whatever. There's another one too with like more of a Spirit Island kind of couple characters that are like the waves crashing in on you, and there's like a couple different spirits that you're dealing with. I don't know how that plays. Maybe we'll get to that. But overall, though, there's a lot of little extra things that you can add in with the expansion. You can add in as much as you want, or as little as you want. I don't see why not add most everything into it, and then potentially the monsters, maybe would be the questionable one sometimes, whether you want to play with them or not. But I would be pretty happy to play with the harpies again. I thought that was a fun.
That was fun.
Annoying mechanic, but it was fun. It was annoying in the sense that they got in your way, but it was fun to play with them.
It might be interesting to see how the other ones get in your way and how bad they make the experience.
Yeah.
Although any worse than we got it this time, we would have been swimming.
Yeah. So
a long swim.
Right. I'm not going to do like an actual like number rating for this because I think it's like a little hard. Like maybe for the overall for the game, I think the game's very solid.
Oh yeah.
I would put the game right in that like maybe 8-point category of games.
Usually with expansions, for me, it's a pass-fail thing.
Yeah,
anyway.
Right. And I think this one certainly passes. I don't think it's like a have to. Like if you're curious about Atlantis Rising, I think you'll have a lot of fun with just the base set itself. But I think it does add a good bit of fun and interesting and like surprises along the way. I think it's worth having. It's not a have to get. If that makes sense. So
yeah.
It's not my opinion.
I wouldn't call it essential because we sure had a lot of fun without it, but it's definitely it definitely doesn't make it less fun.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make it more complicated or longer or anything like that.
Yeah, a little more stuff to have to contend with. But overall, it's definitely manageable after your first game. Once you have the basic idea of what the game's doing. So yeah.
Don't be scared of monsters.
give it a 2 thumbs up. That'll be my rating for the expansion. So. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. I hope this video was somewhat helpful. It's a little bit of a different format, playing around with shooting a little bit in between while we're actually playing the game without doing a full playthrough. I think the full playthrough might have been a little tedious, so that's why we didn't do it. So
it is a little long, maybe for watching.
It would be, especially the thought processes and all that. So. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoy this kind of content. If you do enjoy this kind of content, a couple of those free clicks on the screen really help support out channels like mine and like Sean's. Appreciate it so much when you do. As always, do what is right for you. Till next time, see you on the next video. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Bye. Whoa.